Hey guys, so just got back from the cheap theater from seeing The Best Man Holiday. Um, Now, this movie is a movie that I had zero expectations going into. Um, and that's mainly because I have never seen The Best Man. I've only seen snippets of it here and there, uh, but I never have officially watched the whole thing, and I've only gotten the gist of what happened in the movie from Wikipedia and IMDb, and we know how resourceful those two are. But from those two sources, I did get like a gist of what was going on, and I I originally did think I saw The Best Man, and I'm actually surprised I never did watch it. Um, because when I first saw the trailers for this movie and saw a lot of stuff popping up on TV for this, I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that movie. I remember that being pretty good." And then when a couple days before this movie came out, I saw that it was on BET, and I figured, "What the hell? I'll give myself a refresher course on the movie before I eventually go see it." And as I was watching the movie, I realized I had never seen this movie before, ever. And I'm like, um, am I remembering the wrong movie? And then I realized, yeah, I am remembering the wrong movie. I'm remembering the movie The Wood. If you don't remember the movie The Wood, basically the movie The Wood is basically the same exact plot, but with different actors, and they're all African American actors, like in The Best Man. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I've like mixed this two movies up, even though they have almost the exact same plot. And I swear some of the same actors are in both movies. I swear Tay Diggs is in both movies. I might be wrong on both of those accounts, but going in, like I said, I had zero expectations. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to expect with this movie. I didn't know whether I was going to like this movie, particularly because I didn't see the first one, and I was worried that I'd be confused of what was going on, and I wouldn't really give a shit what was going on. And honestly, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I really, really, really enjoyed this movie. It had a lot of flaws, especially towards the end. Um, but honestly, this movie was really enjoyable. I really recommend it. I thought I thought it wasn't a waste of time whatsoever, and I recommend seeing it at a cheap theater if you get a chance. Um, and if you're worried, like I was, about being confused as to what happened in the first one, being confused by all the relationships and stuff like that, don't worry, because in the opening credits of this movie, they basically recap the whole first movie and also tell you what these characters have been doing ever since the first movie. And honestly, that was kind of nice. And even if you're a fan of the first movie, I'm sure that was probably nice for you too, because the first movie is 14 years old, and it probably would help that you have a refreshers course before you actually start the movie over. Start the movie. And get introduced to these characters again. They actually spend like the first 20 minutes of the movie actually kind of reintroducing them, which I thought was really nice, and showing the relationships between all of them. I really did like that a lot, and I wasn't helped me a lot not being confused by anything. I definitely think this movie had a lot of solid acting in this movie. I don't think there was really a bad performance in this. There was one character that I didn't really care for, and that was the girl. What was her name? Shelby, I think. That girl who was a desperate housewife, or that was on a reality TV show, and she was really obnoxious and really annoying. Even though they made her redeemable by the end of it, she still really kind of was grating to me. I really couldn't stand her, but she didn't kill the movie for me. People like Tay Diggs and Morris Chestnut were good in this movie. I think Tay Diggs and Morris Chestnut are solid actors. I've never seen them in a really bad role before. I haven't seen Taye Diggs in a long time in a movie. I mean, I've seen Morris Chestnut in a lot of movies as of late. He's always in a supporting role, but he wasn't bad. Neither of them were bad in this movie. Regina Hall, who which is this is kind of funny. I like movies I remember Regina Hall from were the scary movie movies. That sounds funny saying, but it's the way I guess you can say it. Um, she all I ever remember her doing was a obnoxious, loud black woman, what she does, what she plays in the scary movie movies, and this time it was kind of refreshing to see her actually play it straight and be really like a generally show her acting chops, and she's not that bad in this movie. And she's actually pretty good. And she has probably one of my favorite storylines in the whole movie, which is the whole storyline where there's a video circulating around the internet of her and her stripping days, and it's costing her and her husband funding for their school, and it's kind of funny. Like the storyline is kind of funny, and it also does have the same problem. Like, why don't you just show her this video in the first place? And if you had shown her the video in the first place, there wouldn't be all the conflict that happens later. I mean, it's one of those problems you always have with romantic comedies, and it happens a lot in this movie. This movie does fall under a lot of cliches that you expect from romantic comedies, like a lot of conflicts would be just resolved if they would have just told them about the problems they were having early on. Um, what else? Drawing a blank here. Who else? Oh, Terrence Howard. I love Terrence Howard in this movie. He basically plays. If you don't know, you haven't seen the first one. He basically plays what I got out of it, the black version of Stifler. He's basically kind of like he is like Stifler in this movie. He's kind of a jackass in some of the things he says, but he's also a pretty decent guy. And I didn't get like, even this is showing you that I never saw the first one, but it's kind of funny. I didn't realize that him and Morris Chestnut's wife were brother and sister until like almost halfway through the movie, which was kind of funny. I'm like, really? They're brother and sister? They never mentioned that until like the last half of the movie, and that's like, oh, I didn't know that. I mean, that shows you how much I know about this film series. But also, I thought these characters had a lot of great chemistry together. I thought everybody had some good chemistry together. Um, you know, all the acting seemed genuine and everything else. Where I had some problems with this movie was towards the end. Now, these trailers are misleading to say the least, and I'm gonna get into spoilers here. I'm sorry, but I have to talk about this and it's gonna be hard to talk about some of these things without spoiling it for you. Halfway through the movie, it's revealed that the character Mia, Morris Chestnut's wife, they married from the first one, is dying of cancer. Now, this was a story, this was something that I caught on very quickly. And if you watch this movie, you probably could, like, pretty quickly, too. You start noticing, like, when she first appears, that she looks pretty sickly. You're kind of like, yeah, something's wrong with that girl. You can kind of tell. And then, like, when they finally reveal that she's got cancer, you're like, well, that was a shock. Um, not. And that was like literally you're just sitting there like, this movie, like the first half of this movie is like a silly kind of romantic comedy and like kind of upbeat kind of film, and then all of a sudden it really gets depressing. I mean, really depressing, and it's just kind of sad. It's just sitting there like you actually start feeling. I even though I'd never watched the first one, I kind of felt for these characters, and I kind of felt like that was a real drastic tonal shift that it was just gonna make it like because the first half is kind of upbeat and cheerful and all that stuff like that, and then like midway for the movie it gets really fucking serious, and then from that point forward, it keeps that tone going where it's just fucking being really, really, really serious, and then spoiler alert, she dies at the end of the movie. I'm sorry I'm spoiling this for you, but she dies, and literally, this was my main problem with this was that they kind of after she dies, they kind of I think the director figures, oh crap, we gotta finish up all these storylines like Tay Diggs and his wife about to have a baby and stuff like that, and so right after she dies and they have this really emotional scene, they got cut to some quirky scene with Terrence Howard having sex with Shelby and what a and then the quirky scene of Tay Diggs' wife about to give birth, and Morris Chestnut's gotta help her deliver the baby, even though he's not really a trained doctor. And apparently, if you've been in an operating room during pregnancy, you can, you know, easily deliver a child. Apparently, that's from what this movie's telling you. I highly doubt that's true, but whatever. So it's all this. It goes from this really serious scene to like all the quirkiness again, like if in like 2 seconds, and you're sitting there going, "Yeah, that's a big drastic tonal shift," and that was kind of a little distracting. Another one distracting moment, and you see if you notice this too, is that watch the scene where the wife or Tay Diggs' wife goes into labor. Um, they cut to like they go from her water breaking in the house to her going into or her to the next scene being her on her way to the hospital like about to give birth, and literally like the scene where she's in the house is it's like daylight out, and then the next scene it's dark out, and you're like, that was a big continuity issue. That was kind of funny to watch. Like, wait a minute, how long did that fucking take them to get her in the car? Like, I don't think it takes her that long to get a pregnant girl in the car. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, I thought that was kind of funny. It's like, I think that was a big continuity issue they kind of messed up there for a second, but whatever. That's minor. But yeah, I thought the tone of the last half of the movie was kind of all over the place in my opinion. Like I said, it would go from like a really serious scene in the funeral to some quirky shit with Terrence Howard or Tay Diggs' wife giving birth and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, that was a little drastic. And then it'll shift back to a little bit more dramatic stuff, and then it'll go back to quirky stuff. It just like was all over the place towards the end. And also, it does kind of set up a third movie, which we'll probably have to wait 14 more years for, which by that point they'll probably be all in their 50s. But yeah, it does set up a third movie, which I hear the director wants to do. But if they do a third one, I'll go see it. I like this one enough that I probably will go see a third one. I'll try to eventually get around to watching The Best Man finally, if I ever do get if the third one ever does come out. But yeah, that was, you know what, that was generally a big surprise for me. I really did enjoy this movie. It was really good. I would say also the movie did drag a little bit. It did feel like, all right, they're just kind of stretching this movie out a little bit thin, and that this movie could end anytime soon, but it had to drag on more and more and more. Especially the scenes where the girl's dying. I mean, Jesus criminy. Just like, it was like, God, this is depressing. And I was like, I wanted to kind of slip my wrist after watching that. God damn, was that really depressing. But also, it was kind of fun to see that movie, that movie, because the I was the only guy in there. There was like four girls, like older ladies in there. And they really enjoyed that movie. They really enjoyed when Morris Chestnut was shirtless. Good God. That was kind of funny being in a movie theater of four women who really loved that movie. They were kind of making me laugh a lot in that movie, more than the movie actually was, somewhat. But yeah, the movie's pretty funny. It was pretty good. Definitely recommend it. Even if you haven't seen the first one, you can still watch it and still find enjoyment in it. It's not that bad. Anyways, I'm gonna get off here. Now, I would say I'll be back in a couple days with American Hustle, but unfortunately, I had a car accident, and I don't know if I'll be getting around this. My car is kind of banged up right now, to the point that I don't know if I should be driving it around anywhere. So I don't know whether I'm gonna get around American Hustle anytime soon. I'm hoping maybe I can find a chance to get around to watching it. I'm kind of regretting now not going to see that instead of Best Man Holiday. But, anyways, I will be back probably within a couple days here with a review for this. I don't know if you can see this. One Direction, This Is Us. Yes, I rented this off Redbox. This was a movie that I came to my movie theater and I never got around to watching it on purpose. Uh, and I didn't. I really don't want to see this movie, but it was a certified fresh film on Rotten Tomatoes, and I gotta kind of get around to watching it. So I figured, what the fuck? I was at Redbox. I figured, what, you know, this movie's a buck. What the hell? I'll finally get finally give in and finally watch this movie. Um, not really looking forward to this movie. I'll tell you that right now. I wish I was watching American Hustle instead of this crap, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. But I'll be back with a review for this, and maybe, if I'm lucky, a review eventually for American Hustle. But I wouldn't guarantee it. But all right, I'll be back with One Direction, This Is Us in a few days, and I'll talk to you guys later.